Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by for your July tarot forecast, or tarot insights, I should say. What I'm going to be looking at is not a comprehensive look at your month at all. This is going to be covering one theme that shows up during your month at some point. It may have to do with love, it may have to do with family, it may have to do with work, it may have to do with your home. It can be anywhere. I basically have given free rein to Sacred Spirit. We're going to talk about whatever it is that Sacred Spirit wants to bring up for each sign. So it's whatever is most important for you guys to hear about. I know that disappoints some of you because you just want those love readings, but sometimes there are other things that are important too. So, what I'm actually going to be looking at in these monthlies is one particular life cycle that shows up for you sometime in the month of July. And a life cycle, what do you need to know about that? A life cycle is something that we all go through, and the purpose of it is to teach us something or to let us experience something either new or at a new level than before. So life cycle gives us a new lesson or new experience, and we have the setup of the life cycle, then we have the lesson or the experience, and then we have the fulfillment or the ending of the life cycle. The fulfillment is what happens as we integrate that lesson or experience into our lives, and that'll be more at the end of the reading. That'll be like the last three cards that I talk about. Before that is the setup, and then in between is the actual lesson or experience. How long is a life cycle is something that I hear a lot. Life cycles really, as far as timing, depend on you and how quickly you embrace or how much you resist the lesson or experience that you're being set up for. So, completely up to you. I've seen life cycles last as short as 20 minutes, although that's pretty rare usually. And I've seen them go on for years and years and years. So like I said, it really depends on you and how willing you are to embrace the lesson or how much you're resisting that lesson or experience. Okay, so thank you once again, everybody, for stopping by, for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Now you know what you're getting into. On with your reading. Hello there, Aquarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly insights. The first thing that I'm looking at does talk to me about your environment. An environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. And so what I'm seeing coming up here is that your environment is exactly what you want it to be. This is your ideal environment, except for one little thing. There's something that somebody else is kind of influencing. So it's not totally and completely set up by you, but mostly it is, and a very enjoyable, very pleasant environment it is for you, Aquarius. Now the next thing that I'm looking at is your subconscious leanings. Looks to me like right now your subconscious is really working on your self-esteem, accepting yourself, really understanding your own self-worth, both the good part of you and also the dark side of you. So your subconscious is really working on having that accurate view of you. What I'm seeing as far as your learning style, you learn best while you're having fun. So you learn things as you're goofing around, as you're relaxing, as you're chilling out. You're picking up information at that point. Whenever you're working, you're focused on what you're doing. You're not picking up information unless that happens to be part of the job. But as far as learning new stuff, I see that coming up as you're recreating during this particular life cycle in July, Aquarius. Communication style. I feel like your communication style sometimes is very playful, very fun, and other times I feel like there's a little bit of something that you're kind of holding back. You're not giving out all the information that you know the other person would like to have, Aquarius. Now, as far as work, this can come in one of two ways, or for a few of you it might come in both ways, but for work, for me, this can come in as that thing that you do to make a living, and it also comes in as those things that you're doing to improve your own self or to improve your own character. So we already saw a little bit of that in your subconscious leanings, working on accepting yourself and finding your true self-worth. As far as working on your character, this is kind of reinforced as far as any kind of working on your character. This shows really loving yourself and appreciating yourself. So really it's almost like saying that twice. So that's kind of a big deal as you go through this life cycle for it to come up in two different ways, in two different places. Now, the next thing, if this is work where you actually are making a living, I'm seeing that you are drawn to the work that you're doing, that you're enjoying it, that you're attracted to the work that you're doing. So maybe there's a new project at your job that you're really enjoying, or maybe you just enjoy your job. And then maybe you have your own company and you do what you want to do and you just enjoy that. All right, so the next thing that I'm looking at talks to me about that part of you that's being grown or expanded right now. Wow, you're the second sign to have this show up for the grown or expanded part. So basically where you're being grown or expanded is you're getting more in touch with your own feelings and learning how to express them more in a way that other people can understand them instead of running away from them or just hiding them. Let's see, things that you stand for. Wow, this is so trippy. I don't think it was the same. Oh, it was the same sign. I did shuffle the cards. Wow. Okay, so obviously I don't really look at the cards that much till I start talking about them because all this stuff is hitting me like, whoa. I think it actually was the same sign. Had both of these cards in exactly the same place. But none of these other cards are repeats here. That's so interesting. Okay, so Aquarius, I do feel like you're dealing with some kind of addiction, and you are standing up for the idea that this is your choice and this is your thing to deal with, and that nobody else can tell you how to deal with this addiction. Nobody else can I mean, they can make suggestions, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to hear them. And you're kind of letting people know that, you know, this is my thing. You mind your own business. Take care of yourself. I'll take care of this type of attitude coming up around this addiction. Now, of course, like I said in the introduction, this is a general reading, so not everything I say is going to apply to every Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius and you're watching this and you don't have an addiction, obviously that doesn't apply to you. If you're somebody that is watching this for a friend who's an Aquarius or a significant other who's an Aquarius, don't just assume just because it comes up in a general reading that it's about the person that you are thinking of as you're watching the video. It just doesn't always work like that. It's a general reading. This video is probably going to have over 1,000 hits by the time it's done, maybe more than that, maybe close to 2,000. So obviously, not everything I say can apply to every single Aquarius out there. All right, so let's move on. The next thing that I have coming up talks to me about how other people perceive you, and this is interesting because I think that this card generally correlates with the person who is giving you a hard time over the thing you're standing up for. So this person that's talking to you about this addiction issue, for those of you that this applies to, is somebody who really loves you. They are in love with you, and they really want the best for you. Okay, so the next card that we have coming up does talk to me about your lesson or experience. And I really like to see this, actually. This lesson or experience does talk about victory. And since where you're growing and being expanded has to do with acknowledging your feelings and getting comfortable with your feelings, and then also we've got this whole subconscious and inner work thing going on of finding your happiness and being happy and accepting yourself just the way you are. I mean, this victory is really a good one. This is talking about, you know, making major progress in the emotional arena. And if you can make major progress in the emotional arena, everything else kind of falls into place because you've got layers. We've got layers to ourselves. So you've got spiritual, you've got psychological, you've got emotional, and then you've got the physical. And the psychological, the emotional, the spiritual, all that stuff affects the physical. So if you can heal up something in one of these other higher layers, then it has to follow that if there's something going on in your body as a result of that thing being out of balance or out of whack, that thing has to come into line too. So it's a really good thing when you can get that kind of healing. Ultimate fulfillment or fulfillment of this life cycle. There is some healing of some heartache coming up for you. That's a really nice thing. This to me feels like you may be getting closure with somebody that you haven't got closure with. You may be having a conversation with somebody, and for some of you this is more than one person that you're having a conversation with, and you're just trying to understand, where they were coming from, and also you're showing them where you were coming from too, so that you guys can be more on the same page. This is not closure for everybody. For some of you this will actually just be the beginning of a healing process between you and certain people in your lives. I do see a lot of communication also going on. I feel like this is part of that healing process. There's a lot of back and forth communication. Like I said, just trying to understand each other and where you guys came from. Where you came from for them, and them, they want to understand more about where you came from, what was going on. Ultimate fulfillment of this life cycle is, I think some of you actually are going to be falling in love again with somebody that maybe you had some problems with because of your addiction. The addiction was creating situations that in your life that you would not have chosen if you had not been under the influence of that addiction. And so I think that there's probably been a lot of friction in that area. And so this is falling back in love with that person that you first met before the addiction came in and sort of tore the heck out of everything. And I know I'm not talking to every Aquarius here, so those of you that I'm not talking to, you might want to check your rising sign and your moon sign and see if those apply more to you. But there's obviously a number of Aquarians out there that need to hear this to help them move forward. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with the message that needs to be heard. So anyway, ultimate fulfillment is falling in love again with somebody that's really been there for you as best they could through everything that you've gone through and everything that you've put them through. It slices both ways there. So anyway, Aquarius, that really, oh my gosh, so good to have all that healing coming in. I am very, very, very happy for you. And I'm hoping this happens to the Aquarius I know. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for stopping by, for hanging out, for liking, sharing, subscribing, and commenting. I do appreciate all of your support. Everyone have a fantastic month, and I will see you back here the next time. Peace out.